not a writer.
Okay.
For those who...
What we do here is go back.
Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother...
There we go. Now we have audio. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Child of Mecha live stream. I'm your host, Tim, the one and only Child of Mecha. And, yeah. So, hi. How are you? Greetings. Happy Monday. Running around like a chicken with my damn head cut off here before the stream. So, it is what it is. So, anyway. Howdy. I think Manny was the only one that guessed the hummingbird. I think so. So, good job, Manny. Well done, sir. Congrats. Let's see. What are we going to talk about? I don't even know. I'm discombobulated, y'all. All right, so, hey, real quick. Let's get the business out of the way real quick. If you want one of these cool little chibi hummingbird shirts, right, that was finally crafted by our good friend Corey, Mr. Lynx53 over there on Instagram. Man, go hit up www.childofmecha.com. Hit the store button up at the top. You'll find shirts, hats, bags, all sorts of other cool stuff in there. Yeah, go get you some. If you are interested in the tools and materials and stuff like that we see and work with here tonight, there's a little link, Amazon link just below here on YouTube and Twitch. That side, if you're watching on Facebook. And if you are interested in models or tools or accessories or the best decals on the planet, yes, Mecha Decals, go hit up USA Gundam Store right down here in the corner. Those fine folks down there, Adam and his crew, will definitely hook you up. So, let's start talking about this past weekend. Yeah, I was down with Justin and a bunch of other cool people down there at the Hobby Town in Richmond, Virginia for their GBWC event, and it was awesome. It was awesome. We had a really, really, really good time. We met a lot of people. You know, there were a lot of friends there. All sorts of stuff. It was a really cool time. Really cool time. There was definitely a buzz in the air. Let's put it that way. And like I said, you know, on the Facebook and Instagram and everything, that's what GBWC should be about, is the kind of gathering of the people and having a good time and just talking and everything. And it was a really, really good time. So we'll talk about that here. But got to meet Jun, Mr. Sim Pro Models himself. That was a lot of fun. He's a cool character, man. He is really, really a good guy, and I'm gonna tell you what, man. He's extremely passionate about what he does and the products that he makes. He was gracious enough to hook me up with one of the rifles and the knives that he makes and stuff like that for Gunpla, and those are really cool. And I'll show those to you here in a few minutes. But let's talk about that Hobby Town in Richmond deal, shall we? So man, it was it was a full day, you guys. I left my house at like 6:30 in the morning, and I didn't get back until I think it was about like 9:30 at night. It was a 3.5 hour drive, so it was pretty good haul. Man, you know, we got there right as the store was opening, and the place was already packed. I think I got there at about 10:20. The place had just opened up at 10, and there were already like a good 20-30 people in there at that point. And it just got crazier after that. But we get in there, start to set up, you know, the guys, Nick, Nickel Models, you know, Pointless Hero, bunch of other folks. You know, they were there, helped me in with all the paraphernalia that I come dragging with, you know, bags and gear and all that stuff. So they helped me in with that. So that was really cool. And started to set up. and man, everybody's coming over talking and everything like that, and it was crazy. And I'm trying to get the stream set up going and everything and all that, and man, it's getting close to class time, and I'm like, oh man, I still got a bunch to do. And I realized that I had forgotten the mic cord at home, so I'm like, damn it. So that's why we didn't stream any of it on Saturday. We went ahead and recorded the Simple Details class, but I honestly don't feel like it was the greatest version of it. So I'm not gonna throw that up there because there are better versions of Simple Details on my channel at this point. So, but I think, you know, from hearing from everybody that, you know, they got some good information out of it. So that's the important thing. But I know Thurno, yeah, Dwidget's in the audience, dude. Your donated prizes went over like gangbusters, dude. So what we did was Thurno was gracious enough. Thurno Hobbies and Games on Facebook. He is the Gunpla bounty hunter. If you guys don't know, if you need something rare or something like that, Thurno's the one to go to. I'm telling you, he can track it down like a bloodhound, right? So Dwidget for you guys on YouTube, but Thurno Hobbies and Games on Facebook. That's his page. So Thurno was gracious enough to donate 3 models as kind of giveaway prizes and stuff. And we were going to do that for the Hobby Works in Laurel, but they didn't unfortunately get here in time. So I saved them and we gave them out at Hobbytown in Richmond. So we did one right off the bat, and that was a lot of fun because Thurno sent over a what was it, the new Super Deform RX 782, and then he sent over a core, the core booster, the Japanese like special edition core boosters. And then also the red-headed Canon, GM Canon P Bandai, right? Sent over those 3. Amazing, like awesome prizes. Like I never would have expected like the quality of these prizes, right? So Thurno, dude, props to you, buddy. So the first giveaway that we did was, you know, I made an announcement. I asked everybody, I was like, okay, who's the youngest here, right? Little girl stands up. She's like, I'm 9. And I'm like, anybody else? Nobody answered, right? So I gave her the SD RX-78-2, right? And you should have seen the smile on her face, like ear to ear smiles, sunshine in her eyes, like she was like all in at that point, right? So cool. But then like 20 seconds later, this one kid from the back, he's just like, but I'm 9 too. And I'm like, oh no, you know? And I'm like, all right, so, and I think either Donnie or Nick kind of got this and they posted it to the Instagram stories. But I was just like, all right, so when's your birthday, right? I pointed to the little girl. I was like, when's your birthday? She said, I forget what she said. And I'm like, this little boy in the back. I'm like, all right, when's your birthday, right? And yeah, they were both 9. So I gave him the limited edition core booster and kind of made a big deal about it and everything like that. And you know, he was super happy about it too. But that kind of just started off everything on the good foot. And man, it was a really, really cool feeling, you know, to see those 2 because they started tearing into the kits right away, like right away. Especially the little girl. She was like, right? And so we got on with the class. The class went over pretty well. Like I said, it was a full place. Like there were probably a good 40, 50 people there, maybe. I'm guessing at this point. So it was jam-packed. Definitely the biggest class that I've ever put on. And so it was hard to show the little details to 40, 50 people, right? Without a projector or a TV or anything like that. So we had to resort to passing the pieces around so they could kind of hold it, touch it, look at it, the whole 9. So hopefully that went over kind of well. But man, I'm gonna tell you what, that was it was kind of nerve-wracking a little bit going in front of 40, 50 people. Like I say, biggest class we've done so far. And I'm sure somebody got the footage or pictures of me. I'm sweating and everything, like it's hot in there and everything. But yeah, it was a really, really good time. So we finished that up. Started talking to a bunch of people. Like I said, Jun, we talked to. Donnie was there. We talked to him a lot. Marcellus, Pointless Hero, Nickel Models over on Instagram, all those guys. Let's see, Al was there, Version AC, Al Cruz, Amy Gumpla Princess, she was there as well. What is it? Black Otter Team over on Instagram, he was there. Darth Robin, she was really cool. Wobish, Woody Bishop, yes, he was there, and man, he came out. He was really cool. I talked to Woody for a little bit, and really good guy, really cool. He I think he brought the whole family and everything. There was a lot of families there. Like I was really surprised and kind of jazzed by that. So it was a really good thing. But the little girl that won the giveaway, her whole family was into building, right? And I talked to her father for probably a good long time, probably 15-20 minutes or so before the class. I had noticed his camera. He was rocking an A7 from Sony, and I was just, we were kind of just talking shop on cameras and everything like that. And, he kind of proceeded to tell me, he had his daughter, little girl, and then he had 3 other little boys, and they all build. All of them go to, like, build nights and stuff like that, and they build all together, and it's crazy, right? But we were kind of talking about that, and I'm like, man, that's really cool to, to have all the kids into it, and they were really into it, too. And I'll kind of talk about that here a little bit more in a minute. So we were talking to people. We went out to lunch with June and Justin and his friend Ethan. I believe Gilligan Ninja, all over there on Instagram. I think that's what he goes by. So we all had lunch. And just, kind of getting to talk to Jun and kind of hearing, because he's really deep into like the Chinese dress up kit, and conversion kit makers and stuff like that. He knows those guys, like they're friends. And it was really cool, really cool getting to hear kind of a perspective, like an insider's perspective into that kind of world. I'm always like really interested in hearing kind of, about the business side of things, because, for a lot of us, we don't even think about it, much less are privy to it, right? And I really am interested in just hearing kind of the logistics, really, of, kind of the inner workings of the business side of things. And it was really interesting. And it was great, man. It was really great. So we come back and we start the photo class and everything, and Justin's doing his thing, and I'm kind of interjecting here and there and kind of trying to take photos and trying to take video, and I didn't take as much as I wanted to because people were just talking. We were all just kind of interacting and things and just kind of really hanging out and having fun. So I know, George, you're in the audience. I know you asked for a lot of photos and videos, man, and I'm sorry I let you down, but there were bigger fish to fry, buddy. A lot of other people took photos and videos, so that's why I kind of posted a flurry of them to, the Instagram stories and stuff like that. So, but it was a really good time. It was a really good time, and I can't say that enough. So we get finished with the photo class, and by that time they're about to announce the awards for GBWC and everything like that, and that was fun. Gumball Princess Amy, she got second, and I don't know if you guys have seen her entry, but it's Alice in Xeon Land, right? Super cool and creative, right? She took like 2 little SD Zakus and made them Tweedledum and Tweedledee. She made like this tree kind of armature thing, and put a little Haro in the tree, and she painted it like the Cheshire Cat. And then she took one of those little Bill Diver like robot girls and painted it up to look like Alice, and it was really cool. So if you guys haven't seen it, go check out Gumball Princess on Instagram. I highly recommend it. It was really cool build. And the first place entry was really awesome as well, and I'm not discounting that because that was great, because dude showed an RX-78 cutting a Zaku 2 in half, and it was lit with LEDs and all sorts of other cool stuff. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to look at it up close because I was busy most of the time, but needless to say, it was very cool looking, from what I did see of it. Let's put it that way. So we basically just hung out until we closed the store down after the class, right? The family, Gumpla family that goes out to build meets and everything, they're talking to me and everything like that, and I'm starting to set up the hummingbird, because I wanted to bring that, and I wanted to set it up earlier so people could see it, and kind of get, maybe take a little bit of inspiration from it, and kind of see, hey, this is GBWC, and this could potentially be what, maybe you work toward. So unfortunately, I didn't get to set it up earlier, but I started setting it up, and that, for those of you guys there, you saw me struggling with it. It takes a good 30 minutes to 45 minutes to set that thing up, and it's nerve-wracking, but it was a lot of fun setting it up and everything, because the family, the little boys and little girl, were all around me, just like locked in watching me, right? And it was really cool because they were asking me questions about it, right? And I will never forget this. The little girl, she's 9 years old. 9 years old. I had the Zaku that I'm working on, right? I had this sitting on the table, and she points at it, and she looks at me. She's like, "Is that kit bashed?" I'm like, whoa. Time out. Number one, the thoughts going through my head, first and foremost, was like, how do you know what that is? You're 9, right? And then my second thought was like, oh my god, I need to adopt you. Like, it was super crazy. It was very surreal. But I told her, I said, yeah, that is kit bash. That's a very good call. Yeah, I told her, I said, it's a Johnny Ridden master grade base. And then she's just like, are those Sinanju parts? I'm like, what? Guys, I was floored. And she wasn't the only one in this family who had the questions geared up and ready to go. And mind you, they weren't prompted either. They were there. They were locked into the whole thing, and they were into the hobby deep, you guys. The other kids were asking about the hummingbird, and they were just like, how long did it take you? And then this and everything. I was just like, you kids are amazing. Like, that's all I could think of, right? And, the dad, his name's Lucas, and, man, I'm going to tell you what, that's parenting done right there, you guys. Like, I couldn't believe it. It was awesome. That was kind of the, I guess, like the epitome or example of how the day went, because it was just a really cool day, like all the way around, and that's exactly how it should have been, and I was thankful for that, man. Me and Justin had a great time, and then kind of, people started to leave and everything like that, and then there was kind of the core kind kind of group there, the folks from Instagram and stuff like that, Nick, Marcellus, what is it, Black Otter team, I think is the general. I don't know the guy's name, and I never got it, and I'm regretful for it, but he was there hanging out. Darth Robin from Instagram, Al and Amy, Version AC and Gunpla Princess, they were all there hanging out. Me, Justin, Jun, Donnie, of course, a few other people. One guy, Wolfgang, he was cool as shit, man. He was the best. And he had the coolest name too. Man, and I know I'm gonna screw this up. Donnie, do you remember Wolfgang's full name? Like, his name was badass, you guys. Like, full on Xeon Gundam Ace type of name. I kid you not. It was something like Antonio Wolfgang Cortez, something like that. I'm gonna tell you what, like, I wanted to change my name right then and there. Like, it was awesome. Like, that's a pilot's name, you guys. Like, oh my god. And he was just really, really cool, man. Super down to earth, super chill. His boy was there. I didn't get his name or anything like that, but he was super funny as well. And oh man, it was just like the perfect cap to the perfect day. Just all of us hanging out, talking. And we sat there, I don't know, probably for maybe a good hour and a half, maybe even more. Just talking about everything. Like, everything. Not even Gundam related. Just everything in general. Life in general. And that was... Yeah, that was fun. That, I think... that hour and a half was the real treat for me. The classes and the GBWC and everything, that was the price of admission to just hanging out and talking with everybody. So... that was really awesome. Really, really awesome. So, you guys, man, if you can get out to the Richmond Hobby Town, I highly suggest it. Those guys are cool. They got a big store, by the way. They carry the full line of Simpro models. And got a lot of Gunpla, got a lot of standard scale modeling stuff, RC cars, all sorts of things. Really, really cool place. And then they got the big learning center in the back, which was very impressive as well. And I know Marcellus was saying that's kind of where they hold the, I guess they have the Tamiya like 4-wheel drive car track. They have that set up back there normally. But they do different things back there and stuff like that. So, man, just a really good day. Really, really good day. And, you know what? Like George posted on his story earlier, man, Gunpla's community, y'all. I felt it. Felt it that day. Yeah. It was really, really, really fun. Really fun. But hopefully we get to do something similar to that coming up at the end of this month at Saboten Con in Phoenix, Arizona. What is it? August 31st to September 2nd. Yeah. It's gonna be great because I'm personally putting on 3 demos. Yeah, three demos, classes, whatever. Hour-long classes, demos, what have you. And then I'm teaming up with those Gundam guys and the Arizona Builders Club to put on a kids Gunpla workshop on Sunday the 1st. So if you happen to be out there, it's going to be awesome. The kids get a little model brought to you by our good friends, USA Gundam Store, and we're trying to get them some tool kits as well to give away. So I think the limit is like 25 to 30 kids. So yeah, that'll be a lot of fun because why not, right? Get the kids involved. It's fun. And then after seeing the family this past weekend, man, I'm more jazzed about that than anything, to be quite honest with you. But then I'm sure me and those Gundam guys will be taking part in some other panels and stuff like that. I'm sure we'll be crashing some panels and stuff from the Arizona Gundam builders. I'm sure we'll kind of jump in and hell, maybe just crash those. Who knows? Might be fun. But it's gonna be awesome because we're gonna have tables there, the whole 9 yards. I'm gonna have the Mecha Decals in person that you can buy, the whole 9. Come on by. I'm gonna have airdrop with me. You can see it in person. It's just gonna be a really good time, I think. Really, really good time. It's gonna be a 4-day anime Gunpla bonanza. So come on through. It'll be fun. Anyway, how are you guys? I'm spent. I'm tired. I still got to go to the gym after this, too. But anyway, we persist, right? All right, so, you guys, let's talk about SimPro models, shall we? I want to show you these samples here real quick. And just real quick, so hang on right there. Got them right here. We got them right here. Very close. I didn't have to walk off camera to get them. Let me pull these guys out here real quick, and we'll show you what we're working with here, yeah? Because these are pretty cool. These are pretty cool. All right, and boom. All right. Get this guy back together here. Boom. And here we are. Let's get you zoomed in. Woo! Alright, so let's just real quick, we'll start with the knives first, yeah? Look at these. These are Gunpla sized knives, right? So there's the Zaku hand, yeah? There you go. Look at that. That's pretty cool, yeah? Pretty cool. You kind of got this Tanto style military kind of knife, and then you've got this kind of like big badass Bowie knife. Yeah. So Sean said over. Jesus. So Sean's over there on Facebook, you guys, and he says, "Fudge! I'm trying to work and I can't see straight, and my laptop just died." Jesus, man. Get the phone out. Hurry up, Z. I'll wait for you. No, I won't. Anyway, so Char Twins asks, "That's awesome, Tim. Where did you get these from?" These are by SimPro Models on Facebook, and SimPro, I believe it's SimPro Models on Instagram as well. These are made by Jun. He is really a cool guy, yeah. This one, he's the one that makes a lot of the dress-up kits, like the Real Grade Sazabi dress-up kit that Chris Pabs just recently put out. It was the blue and kind of purplish one that we saw on Mechanism last time, right? That's by Jun. It's SimPro Models. So look them up. You can get these in Hobby Towns. You can get these on USA Gundam Store. You can get these some other places, I think, too. So, but those are the two big ones: USA Gundam Store and Hobby Town. The Hobby Town in Richmond carried the full line, and I know Adam, I think, has some exclusives from Jun, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. But those are the two places that I would recommend. Cheers. So Sean says, "Phone's out, Tim's on, life is good." Man, life is pretty damn good, isn't it? It is. I can't complain, you guys. I can't complain. Pretty damn good. All right, so these are the knives. These are badass. These come in 2 pieces, right? So they come with the handle and then the blade, right? There you go. And it just slots right in. You know, you super glue that bad boy in, and that's never coming out, right? Little wibbly wobbly, little play. You can straighten that out, right? Same thing with this little Tanto kind of military knife. Boop, just like that, yeah. Very, very cool stuff. And now the big one. The big one, right? Big one that he gave me is this rifle, this carbine. Hang on, let me put this one piece back on. There we go. Now we got it. This guy right here. And we're gonna zoom out just a bit so you can kind of get the full. Woo! There we go. Go about 85 millimeter there. But I'll tell you what, you guys. This I love Jun's casting because they're super sharp and crispy and really, really nice. And I really dig his designs too, by the way. So this is his, I believe he calls this the carbine rifle with the supplemental grenade launcher at the bottom here, right? This part, this grenade launcher, actually is optional and it comes off. You can have that as a separate piece, or you can just have the carbine there, and then there's the little grenade launcher. How cool is that, right? How cool is that? The mag is obviously removable as well. This is not glued together, so this is just kind of, you know, sticking in, but there's the removable mag. Now you can glue that in place if you wanted to. That's what I would probably do. But you don't necessarily have to, right? So yeah, so this all comes in pieces, and I'm going to tell you what, though, these, well, at least the kit that he gave me did not come with instructions, but you don't need them. It was super simple to put together, because the way that Jun has crafted this thing, that there is really only one way for this thing to go together. It's high quality stuff. Yeah. Excuse me. Julio says I threw some magnets in the mag. Some mags in the mag. Boom. Chris Pabs, he says he calls it the modular rifle. Okay. Manny says it looks like the stock folds in. No, it doesn't. It actually is just jutted out like that. That's actually how it's supposed to be. It does not fold. What you see here is basically what you get. But it's awesome, though. It is awesome. So here again is this is the crushed Zaku arm, yeah. And we're going to just kind of really quickly fit this guy so you can kind of get an idea. This is 1/100 scale for those wondering. But there's how it fits, there's how it holds. Completely clears an arm. Really good stuff. Really good stuff. Sorvon's over there on Twitch. He says the Simp 1/100 Zaku anti-ship rifle doesn't have instructions either. It's pretty easy to figure out, except for the bipod still haven't figured how that fits together. Sorvon, I'm sure you could email him or message him or something. Jun is really damn cool, and he will jump over the moon to help somebody. Seriously. He's just that kind of guy. He's awesome. You know, I just like it when, like, you know, professional, you know, people that are, you know, doing manufacturing, that are selling products or something like that, are just really cool. Jun's one of those really cool motherfuckers, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. He's really, really cool. So, getting to know him was another highlight of the day for sure. But I think it's a pretty awesome rifle. I might have to use this for, I don't know, I'm thinking maybe the GM Spartan or something like that. whenever we get back to it. I may leave this. I may leave this as an optional weapon for the Zaku. Obviously, I can't use it for GBWC, but you know, as an optional display piece, I might. I don't know. I might throw this on the Zaku and just kind of let him kind of carry it. I think it would look cool. Yeah. I mean, look at it. I mean, it fits really well on a Zaku arm. Just a thought. Just a thought. Anyway, Scott Nunmaker is over there on Facebook. He said the painted up weapons at the event looked awesome. Dude, didn't they? Everything that Jun makes looks awesome. One of Ruslam says, Tim, can you up the brightness on that camera? It's hard to see details, at least for me. Yeah, you know what? And I was kind of thinking the same thing here, Bill, because the camera settings right now are still set to the other day. There we go. I think that'll be a little bit better. Yeah, that's good. Good and bright. So Dwidget says, okay, folks, got a jet. Hit the grind in the morning to prep for the trip. Oh man, have fun, dude. And Dwidget, thank you again. Those prizes, they were awesome. Thank you. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. Let's see. So Sean says I have 4 rifles. Oh no, wait a minute. Hold on. We're going back. So Sean says I have 4 rifles, weapons from him. They are all dope. Nice. Chris R says that I love how this is looking, Tim. Yeah, me too, right? Manny McDio says, yeah, the Dingo kit is sweet. Nice. Very cool. Good stuff. All right. What more can you say, you guys? What more can you say? And this came in a bunch of different parts, though, too. You know, let me real quick kind of just break this down here for you guys to show you the kind of parts count that you're looking at, right? Oh, that went there. That goes there. And then that comes off of there. Both of these. and there's your parts count, right? Not difficult, but it could be somewhat intimidating at first glance, right? You know, you just have to kind of look at the different slots and kind of figure out what goes where. It's like a puzzle, right? It's like a puzzle. Have fun with the puzzle. That's what I did. So, keep everything in this nice little container. Yeah? Anthony over there on YouTube says, Jesus, the thing's a kit by itself. Dude, it really is. I mean, the casters need to be able to cast these things efficiently and intelligently. So yeah, it is a kit. It is a kit. Kyle says this one is way better at staying together with the pegs than his older rifle. Nice. Nice. Superset 5, he says, that resin rifle would look nice on a ground type EZ8 or Gundam. Yeah, I agree. I think that rifle in particular is a very kind of generalized weapon, and I think, yeah, it would look good on a lot of different things. A lot of different things. So, alright. So, real quick, you guys. Over the weekend, if you guys remember the little custom elbow cover that we did, this little guy here, this was our master, right? And then I tried to make a duplicate, and it just didn't come out the same, right? It didn't come out kind of the same size. It was, as you can see, a little bit bigger. The angles were off and stuff like that. So I decided to cast this guy. in resin, right? So I made 2 castings, and they came out, I think, really well. What more can you say? Really good stuff, man. Really good stuff. So, flip these around. See the underside. And there you go. Let's see. Let's we need to change the color balance here, yeah? Ooh, no, that's too blue. Too yellow. Yeah. What the hell? Oh, there we go. I think that looks good, yeah? I think that looks better. So yeah. So there we go. Rock and roll.
We have a question.
Brandon5269 says, Tim, I have a question. Do you ever sculpt a piece fully from clay or epoxy putty, or do you usually always start with plot plate and strips and whatnot? Yes, I do. I do. I usually start with plastic, and then kind of go from there. Yeah. Because the plastic is rigid. You know, the epoxy putty is, you know, malleable. And I always like starting with a straight angle in terms of the plastic sheet and strip and everything, rather than try to trust my sculpting abilities to get straight angles, right angles, flat surfaces, and all that, right? Yeah. So, hey, look, there's Jun. He's over there on Facebook, you guys. Gunpla Simp Modeling and Supplies. What's up, Jun? Dude, we were just talking about you. I showed everybody the rifle that you gave me. We just took it apart. So, when the stream's over, rewind and you can kind of see. So, yeah. Nice. Thank you for watching, buddy. Appreciate that. Nice. Anyway, awesome. Black Otter Team, there he is. Okay, so Black Otter Team, he wants to know, Tim, how's them greebs? Yeah, y'all want to see the grebe bin? All right, here we go. Ooh. There's the current state of the grebes. Grebes for days. Yeah, we got you big grebes, right? We got you medium-sized grebes. We got you little grebes. We got you every grebes that you can. We got round grebes. We got square grebes. We got grebes with holes in them. We got grebes of all sorts. Yeah, I had to make some more when I was casting the elbow parts this weekend. So yeah, had to. I've got to use the resin before it goes bad. You have a 6-month window, so I figure cast these guys up and kill that resin off as quickly as possible, and then if need be, I can just purchase more. I like this. I like this smooth on 305. I didn't think the 7 minutes was going to be long enough to do what needs to be done in terms of getting it measured, getting it mixed, getting it poured, getting it into the pressure pot. But it seems like 7 minutes is the perfect amount of time to do all that stuff. And you throw that in a pressure pot, you give it 30 minutes. 30 minutes. Dude, a pizza takes longer than 30 minutes to get to your house. Then I got a whole rack of grebes in 30 minutes. Can't beat that, man. Cheers. But yeah, Box O Greebs. Right? Box O Greebs. All right, so let's get back to work, shall we? Kyle H wants to see the mold for the elbow parts. Yeah, sure. It's not very interesting, but sure, you guys can see it. Let me take these off here real quick, and I'll grab it here in just a second. Yeah, let me see. All right. So, Kyle wants to see. Dropped it. Kyle wants to see the mold for the elbow parts. There it is. Cute little guy, isn't he? Just a cute little guy. Just a little cube. Yeah. You got the pour spout. You got your air escape vent there, right? Really simple. Open this bad boy up here, and that's how the part was situated in the mold, right? Now, I did a boo-boo, and when I went to pour the rubber, I didn't punch in any keys, so I had to call an audible, right? I had to take my knife and cut in kind of these strips, right? But they work really well, and that's what a lot of that's what a lot of people do anyway, and it's super nice and really it's not going anywhere basically. Yeah. So yeah, simple as that. Just a little simple 2-part mold, right? Pour in there. Comes down to chute. There's this little strip gateway to fill in the cavity. All the resin fills up, and this little pour spout here is at the topmost point of that piece. All the air escapes out of here. Any of the rest of the little bit of air bubbles that are trapped in there will get crushed by the pressure in the pressure pot. You have bubble-free castings every single time. Every single time. Eerie single time. So, all right. So, if you guys remember last time we were together, we were talking about, and I was showing you this kind of crazy glue-up jig that I was making for this piece here, and ultimately, this is what came of it, right? These fins here. And each one is custom cut because it tapers down and then obviously tapers back. I mocked this up and I hated the look of it, so we got rid of it. No, go away. So we're going to do something else, right? We're going to do something else. But first, we got to do this.
We have a question.
Manny Mech over there on YouTube, he says, "Hey Tim, question: would you ever do a resin casting class?" Yes. The main thing is, the main thing with resin casting, and Brian, I'm sure, will be able to back me up on this, is that if you were teaching a class, you would have to set up multiple molds, multiple castings, and have multiple pressure pots going at a any given time, because there are steps involved in showing people how to resin cast and how to make molds and stuff, right? So at that point, you'd have to have at least 4 pressure pots going at one time, where I only have one. The first one would need to be empty, so that you could place your initial mold in it. You would need to make a duplicate of some other mold have it ready to vent out and open up. So that would be your second one. To pull that out and then put it back in once you pour the second half of it. Shit, now I'm thinking that now you probably need to have 6, because then you need to have another one with the final mold half of it cured at that point. So yeah, you'd have to have 6 different pressure pots going at any given time, right? So logistically, a class isn't exactly easy. Let's put it that way. And that's just the molding side of things. On the resin casting side of things, you'd have to have 3 more. I think you'd have to have 1 empty, where you pour your resin in, right? No, you'd only have to have 2 realistically. You'd have to have an empty one to pour your resin in a new mold, pop that in, and then you'd have to have a second one where the resin is cured, vent that out, pull the piece out. So you'd have to have 5 pressure pots going at any given time. Yeah. It's a complicated process to show and to teach people, right? Once you get into it, it's not rocket science, but trying to show people, trying to teach people, isn't a class is not efficient, unfortunately. And then Brian says you would probably want to double that number for redundancy. Well, yeah, you probably got a point there, Brian. So instead of 5, maybe 10. You know, you're talking about $1,000 worth of pressure pots alone, going off at any given time, right? So I have plans to make videos to show people. So there's that. But Jun, he's over there, Mr. Simp Models. There's YouTube videos teaching how to cast individual pieces. Yes. There are tons of videos on YouTube, but to be honest with you, I personally find a lot of them lacking, but it will give you the general idea. Let's put it that way. Yeah, it is what it is. It's a magical. It's just a magical process. You need to. It takes a wizard to do it. You're a wizard, Harry. You're a wizard. Oh yeah, and Brian makes a very good point. It's a lot of information needed on the front end. Yeah. That's yeah. Rusham Bill says, sounds like you would need a 3-class series over a long weekend, dude. At least. I know Smooth On. They're located up in Pennsylvania, so if any of you guys are close to them, they have regular classes at their facilities, taught by like insanely good professionals, like that do this every day. I do this sporadically here and there when I need it. So I'm not even as versed into this skill set as, you know, say like Brian is, Bro Builder. He does that more than I do. So yeah. Probably not as a class, but probably more as a video series. Yeah. So hopefully that answers your question. Kyle says most of the trial and error seems to be with setting up a proper mold and making sure you consider air bubbles and flow of resin. That's pretty damned accurate. Yeah. The design of your mold will make and break you. Simple as that. If your mold isn't right, you're going to have to just start over. Plain and simple. The airflow is key. Airflow is key. If you don't have the proper airflow for that air to escape, just toss just toss your mold because it's not even worth it at that point. There's no salvaging it. And even putting it in a pressure pot is never going to save it from big, big bubbles and stuff like that, from air. So, yeah. What Kyle says is absolutely accurate. It's all about the mold design, you guys. It's all about the mold design. Yeah. So, but we're not here to talk about resin casting, are we? We're here to get the white balance correct. So, hang on. Alright, so there's me hand. Ooh, that's blue, isn't it? Oh my god. What the shit? Oh, that's better. Yeah, I like that. I'm good with that. Alright, rockin'. Look like I was fucking dead, like I'm Nosferatu or something, right? Scuffle says, well, don't toss your mold. You can cut up the old mold as filler. That's true. Yeah. No, I was being, facetious at that point. So, yeah, no. And Scuffle makes a really good point. You can cut up old dead molds and just use them as filler, so you don't have to use as much fresh mold rubber. You can kind of save that as it's expensive. So, and yeah, Jun makes a very good point. Materials for the mold are expensive. That's where your cost is going to be highest, is your mold. Your resin, you don't use a lot of resin. You use a lot of rubber. Plain and simple. So, like, this little guy right here, I'm guessing this little guy probably took 2.5 to 3 ounces of mold rubber, and he's just a cute little guy, right? Just cute little guy. He's what, 32 millimeters wide, probably by 32. Yeah, 32 by 32 by what? By about 29 high. So yeah. He's a cute little guy. Cute little deal, yeah. But that took about 2.5 ounces of mold rubber, right? So it does cost, and it does add up. Yeah. Persistent Turtle, welcome. Thank you for watching. He says, slap chop mold cutter. I like that. Slices and dices, right? All right. So here, let's take a look at these here real quick. These are the back skirts. Now, like I said, we're not going to be doing those kind of slats that I had wanted to do. They just did not. They did not look the way that I had envisioned, right? So we're going to do something different. I don't know what yet, but that's fine. We're going to move on. We're going to start detailing this other side with the details from this guy over here, right? So first thing that we're going to start with the biggest part of this. We're going to start with this big strap right here, right? This big strap. Scuffle says, can mold rubber be used as a polycap? No. You wouldn't want to. Polycaps are what? Polypropylene or polyethylene. Mold rubber is rubber, right? The plastic would get caught on the rubber because it's friction, because it has friction. Where the polycap, made of either polypropylene or ethylene, it doesn't have as much friction, so it can move, it can rotate easily. So unfortunately, no, you can't use mold rubber as polycaps. So, but hey, good thought, Scuffle. I mean, I like where your head's at. Yeah. Bro Builder says, all right, then increase the size of what you're molding 1,000%. Yeah. in terms of the mold. Yeah, exactly. All right, so for this guy here, we've got this kind of big old strap coming up the side and around to the front, and it's got, you know, this big bevel here that we need to take in consideration, right? And you can see the profile there, and so we need to match this up perfectly. Now, I have these plates left over from when I worked on the first one, and I believe this is the one. Nope, that is not the one. This is the one. This is the one that is sized appropriately here. So this is the same size as the original strap right here, right? You can kind of see that. See that there. Perfect. Okay, so first things first, we need to cut this thing up. We need to get the straps laid down. That's job number one. So let's see how much we need here on the side. We need a roughly 10 millimeters, so 1 centimeter roughly. Yeah, so we're gonna call it 1 centimeter. Get the chopper locked and loaded here. bro bitter. Brian says, sorry, I'm being a nerd. Beauty fucking built in. Dude, Brian, you don't have, trust me, we're right there, dude. Don't worry about it. No worries at all, motherfucker. No worries at all. All right, so we pop this right there. We've got a good 10 millimeter wide piece there. That will fit perfectly because it's coming right up. It's coming right up to this beveled angle, and it's just got a little bit of overlap, just a little bit of overlap on the bottom piece there. So that's what we're looking for. That's what we're looking for. All right, so let's put the chopper back over here. We need to get this thing glued up. But first, we need to make some lines to make sure that we keep things square and even and symmetrical with the other side, right? That's important. That's important, right? So let's do some measurements here. We've got 1 millimeter between the edge of this strap and the bottom corner right here. 1 millimeter, right? So we come over here, we take our T-square, which is absolutely amazing and highly useful, right? Because you can just put it right on a piece like this, measure out 1 millimeter, and make a line, right? And in this case, I'm going to use the back side of my hobby knife, and I'm just going to quickly score that just like that, because that will never be seen once we glue this down because we're going to be doing an outline scribe around it to make it look separated, so you're never going to see that, and you guys can't even see that on screen anyway, so what difference does it make? I can see it. So anywho, we're going to use that as our guide to line this piece up ever so carefully. Now, normally with a piece this big, I would say use super glue, right? Because of the amount of surface area and with the fact that the solvent glue is going to take a lot longer to cure underneath of them, especially the middle parts, right? But we need a little bit of time to place this and get it just right. Okay, so we are going to go with a little bit of a light coat of our good friend here, Plastic Magic. Yeah. Now, this stuff, if you've not seen it before, for some strange reason. Damn it, is amazing. It's the best solvent-based glue I've ever used, because it not only glues polystyrene, it glues ABS, and it glues polystyrene to ABS, and ABS to ABS, and so on and so forth. I've even had it work on acrylic as well, so there you go. It's pretty good. It's pretty damn good. Now, before we proceed, we got to get our eyes on, yeah? So we can actually see what the hell we're doing. So, let's see. Let's get some glue up on this thing. And I'm not slathering it on here. I'm just getting it kind of primed and getting the solvent started to melt the plastic, right? This stuff cures pretty quickly, granted, but it's still a solvent-based glue, so you do need to be careful with it. Okay. Basically what we're going to do is we're just going to dribble on some right around the seams just to let it seep in there. And that's going to make filling these seams, especially on this side, a lot easier, right? And we'll just dribble a little bit right here on the edges, and that's going to lock those edges in really, really nicely. And that's going to help fill in any gaps between the surface and the plastic as well. And you won't be able to see those once it's cured. And you'll see, you press down on this thing and you're going to see a little bit of squeeze out. And I know it's probably hard to see on camera because of the piece. It's white and the contrast is probably not the greatest. But there is some squeeze out here that's going on. So that's exactly what we want to see. That's where we need to be. Okay, so we're gonna put that away for right now. We're gonna start to let that cure. We're gonna move on to a different portion so we can not disturb this first strap. Right. What we're gonna start to do next is start to scribe these shapes and things out. That's definitely the next step on this. But first,
We have a question.
Manny McDyer says, the spout of my purple super glue is glued shut. How can I fix that? Oh man. So Manny, what you have here is a locked on cap, right? This is basically locked on. It happens. It happens. What I would say, the super glue thankfully doesn't stick to the cap material very well, because this I don't know what this cap material is made out of. It might very well be like a polyethylene or something like that, but I've had that happen to me as well. There's no stopping mechanism in the cap itself, meaning that there's no like little spike to go down into the nozzle or anything to stop the glue from coming out, and that's kind of a design flaw in my opinion. But you know, get one of those like rubber jar openers or something on it and just kind of really wrench at this thing. It will that bond between the super glue and the cap will pop and you'll be able to get that off of there. But you're going to have to wrench on it. You're really going to have to put some torque into it. And then what's going to happen is you're going to find a shell of super glue over top of the the gluing tip here. To get that off, what I like to do is take and I had to do this actually just yesterday, take a pair of needle nose pliers and just kind of squeeze right at the edges of it, and it will start to crack and peel off and everything like that, kind of like what I'm doing here. Try not to damage the actual plastic of the tip. Just kind of use kind of like light pressure and just kind of twist it around like this, and that stuff will start to kind of scale off, right? So that's the best advice I can give you. Yeah, best advice I can give you. Rushlan, he says, cut the tip. I mean, don't they do that after you're born? I know what they did for me. Just saying. Persistent Turtle says, use your teeth. And he spelled it T-E-E-F. Teeth. That's good. I like that. But yeah, Manny, I mean, just torque at it, twist it, and that cap will come off. Yeah. And then you're just going to have to clean up the nozzle. So, yeah. John over there on Facebook, Gumpla Simp, he says, I punch a hole in the side and use it. It's going to seal itself afterwards anyway. Oh, man. That's funny, though. All right. So, we're going to start with the scribing here, yeah? Now, the very first scribe that we're going to have to worry about is this line coming straight up from this angle here, because if you notice, this scribe line going right up here is not part of the model, and then obviously this scribe line going up and angling and all that's all custom as well. But the first thing we need to worry about is getting this line started right here and getting that taken straight up and through the piece altogether. Yeah. Uh-oh. Zashawn over there on Facebook, he says, story time. I hate drunk me. Well, all right then. At least, hey, you know what? At least you're not drunk Andrew. Look at it that way, right? You know, silver lining. Let's put it that way. Silver lining. Oh, look at that. Franco358 over here on YouTube, he says, you can also buy new caps and nozzles for the BSI super glue. That's pretty good to know, yeah. Pretty good to know. Use a needle, heat the tip, poke it in there over and over till it runs smooth. Man, innuendos. I'm not, yep, nope, we're moving on. We're moving on. Anyway, I have this spare piece of Dymo here that I cut, I don't know, some other time, and it's been sitting around here. So we're going to use this as our guide, and we're going to get this thing started here. Peel that off. Tweezers. Peel the back. All right, so now we're going to take this line, and we need to situate this tape somewhat carefully, because this surface here is lower than this surface here, right? So we can't just butt this up directly to that surface and expect the line to be straight, because if you scribe from that, your line up here is going to be offset by a little bit from this line. So actually what you need to do is try to line this up with the existing panel line and kind of take it from there. So what we're going to do is we're going to ever so carefully line this up and leave about 0.2 of a millimeter space in between, because that's what we're going to be using. We're going to be using a 0.2 for this particular line. We're not going to be using the 0.15. This calls for a 0.2, just a little thicker, just a bit, nothing crazy, right? Black Otter Team, hey man, I'm out, but thank you for coming down this weekend to Richmond. It was the time of my life. Can't wait to take what you and Justin taught us and run later. Dude, thank you. Ian, thank you, man. Thank you for watching, buddy. We definitely have to do that again. So it was very, very fun. Very fun. Yeah. Good stuff. Good deal. All right. So let's make sure we've got this. Yep, that is good. And what I'm doing right now is just kind of gauging the space between the tape and the panel with my 0.2 millimeter chisel here, and this is looking good. I like this. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we need to take the back side of the armor off. Come on, damn you. This piece is always difficult to try and pry off here. Okay. Even with the the mods that we do, or that I do, to try and get this thing apart a little bit easier and make it easier to get apart, this piece is always a pain in the ass. Oh, but I think we got it. I think we got it. Or at least we got most of it. Come on now. There we go. Alright, cool. This is going to make it a little bit easier, because now we can just kind of poke the rest of this tape right down into that slot there. So now that will create our guide all the way down this particular piece. So we can spin this around, start from this edge. Bring it back the other way. There we are. We're going to have a nice straight line. Yeah. Good, good, good. All right. Alright, so there we go. We should have a good panel line here. Let's see. Yes, nice and straight. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. Jun says, "Thank you. Thanks for sharing the sharing of the work, Tim. I screenshot your small line at the bottom of your screen. Got to go do my homework for school now. Can't wait to see you again." Man, thank you, Jun. Come on back. Hang out with us every, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, man. We're on. So come on through. Good stuff. Good stuff. Awesome. Let's see. Good stuff there. Okay. Zashan says, clarification. Drunk me who has to finish these security certs. Normal drunk me, I'm totally cool with it. Damn, Z. Oh, man. Zashan, you're killing me, buddy. You're killing me. Drunk while trying to do work and watch the stream? I mean, that's bold. I'm not gonna lie. That's bold. I like it. I like it. Alright, good man. Alright, so what I'm doing here from the underneath is I'm just trying to bring this panel line down to a point of finality, so that there's no questions that this panel line terminates at a logical place, right? And that's what I see a lot with scribing custom panel lines, right? People will say, for instance, okay, so here's a very simplistic example of what I'm talking about, right? People will just bring, you know, they'll make a panel line like this, and they'll scribe it in, and then they'll just end it there, right? And not bring it down the next surface. Like, how does that make sense? You know what I mean? The problem with this is the panel lines constitute a separation of armor panels. They're not there for decoration, right? So when you just abruptly end a panel line at the corner here, you're saying that this panel here, here, and here are all one part, then this is just for decoration or something, or just some weird line, right? That should not be the case. If anything, you bring that line off to the side, you complete that look, you terminate it at this particular corner, and now it makes more logical sense to the human eye that this top part and this bottom part are two separate pieces of armor. Does that make sense to everybody? Show of hands. Very good. I'll take your word for it. Anyway, moving on. Just all I'm saying is make sure your panel lines terminate logically, guys. That's actually more important than you realize when it comes to custom panel lines and stuff like that. Everybody wants to get into scribing and everything, but man, the important parts. Remember the logic. That's important. The logic. The logic. The Gundam version logic. We need to do more of that. You guys remember the Gundam version logic, right? A little square deal I made. I brought it to Hobbytown. It's awesome. My friend Josh Dara, he thought that up. And we just ran with it and had fun with it. All the Gunpla Talk guys did our own version, and I just kind of did the granddaddy. So, yeah. We need to do that again. I think we might have to. Anyway. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to continue this line up, and we are going to create these panel lines and these notches here in this top part, right? So, first thing is we need to bring this line up. We need to get this sanded down a little bit so we have a nice kind of rough-ish surface to draw on with our pencil, yeah? So we're just going to rough this surface up just a little bit with a little bit of 800 grit. I don't know, this might be 600, I don't know. Regardless, just scuff up that that surface so it's not so smooth, so it'll take the pencil lead a little bit easier too. So, excuse me. What we need to do is we need to line up our ruler here. We need to offset that to that line. And what we're going to do is we're just going to draw this panel line straight up like that. Now, comparing it to the first part, obviously it terminates down here and it forms a straight line there. Yeah. And we're going to bring this up here. We're going to kind of corner bevel this around and all that good stuff too. So we need to bring all these lines together. So to do that, let's take some measurements. That looks like about 1.5 millimeter. Yeah, 1.5 millimeter from this particular corner, just like that. Bingo. All right, and then we're gonna bring that down at roughly a 45 into that, and then we are going to take that line parallel to the top line here, right? We're going to pull this parallel, as well as parallel as we can get it, obviously. We're going to pull that over, and we're going to terminate it. We're going to bring that line and terminate it off to the side here, but we'll do that later, right? So there's our essential design, right? That's what we've got. Now, excuse me, to do this top part here, we need to get a piece of Dymo and we need to bevel that corner. That is probably going to be probably about a 1/2 millimeter bevel. Let's try that and see. We'll give it a shot. Yeah. So to set this up, this is how we do bevels on the chopper. Okay. Here's the setup. You've got your 3 miter gauges. You got 45, you got 60, and you got 30 on this one. I hardly ever use the 30, so we're going to keep this as a 90-degree stop block. I like that. I usually use 45, so we're going to butt the 45 right up to the blade underneath the swing arm. We're going to lock that in, okay? So this is now butted up right against the blade. Now, to achieve a full 1 millimeter miter, you need to use half of that width as your distance gauge. So in this case, we're going to use 1/2 millimeter. So we're going to use a 1/2 millimeter strip as our distance gauge. We're going to butt that right up against the blade and sandwich that piece between the blade and the stop block. We're going to lock that stop block in place, and we're going to pull that strip out of there. So now we've got our setup ready to go for this miter, or bevel, or whatever you want to call it. So we're going to slide our piece of Dymo right down until that corner, touches the stop block, and then we're going to chop off. We're going to chop off the side. Now, thing to keep in mind is we need to make sure that this is accurate. And that is just about as accurate as we can get it. We might have to play with it just a little bit in terms of angle and distance. That actually might be a thinner bevel than I thought. Okay. So, back to plan B. What we're going to do, we're going to pop this out. We are going to instead, now, we're going to thin this down a little bit. We're going to go for 1/2 millimeter bevel. So, to do that, we use half the distance. So we're going to use, yes, we're going to use a 1/4 millimeter spacer. You guys got it. Good job. Proud of you. Alright, let's see. What is this? That's still 1/2 millimeter. We need to find a 1/4 millimeter strip in here somewhere. Amongst my plethora of plastic strips here on my desk. Come on. Where's the 1/4 mil stuff? Alright, well, we're just going to cut a little strip off of this guy here. We're just going to trim it down a bit. There we go. That's good. Alright, so we're going to use this again as our stop block, and we're going to bump that right up against there. Get that out of there. And now let's try this one more time and see if this gets us any closer to where we need to be. Okay? So again, we are going to slide that right into place until it bumps right up against the stop block. And mind you, even though it looks like my finger is right underneath the blade, my finger is actually at about a 1/4 millimeter or a 1/4 inch from the blade. So, Manny, I appreciate your concern. Boom. Just like that. Alright, so now let's compare that. Oh, I think we got it. I think we got it. I think that's what we needed. I think that's what we need. Yeah. That, I think, is looking good. Alright, we're going to go with that. We're going to go with that. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to peel off this dymo, slap this guy into place. Just like that. Alright. Eyes down, and let's get this lined up appropriately here. Okay. So one thing that we need to do is we need to eyeball this. We need to eyeball this angle from this corner. We need to kind of angle that in just slightly, because this is not a perfect 90 degree. At least the piece is not a perfect 90 degree. So we're going to have to take a little bit off of there. We're just going to cut right into this piece. Just like that. And then there we go. Okay, that's where we need to be. All right, so now we grab our normal 0.15 and we go to work scribing out this this box here. Yeah. So let's see, right about there. Yeah. And the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna scribe this corner right here, and that will help separate these two shapes from one another and make them look like separate parts in this assembly of armor here, right? Okay. Here we go. Bring our vertical up to meet that corner scribe there, and that matches up perfect, thankfully. And we're going to bring over this horizontal here because that's nice and easy. Just like that. And then we're going to match these two up right here on this bevel and complete this box. Just like that. Alright, so there we've got our box scribed in. Manny says, what's in the box? Gwyneth Paltrow's head? Y'all seen Seven, right? God, I hope you have, because that wouldn't make any fucking sense if you didn't. It was a great movie, by the way. I mean, you get Brad Pitt, you get Kevin Spacey, back before he was weird, and Morgan Freeman. Come on. It was a great movie. It was a great movie. Especially at the end. He's like, what's in a box? If you haven't seen it, I'm not going to spoil it for you. But it is good. Shit. Now that I think about it, I might have already spoiled it for you by saying what I did. Oh well, sorry. Alright, so lastly, what we got to do is we got to bring this line up here. We got to connect all these parts up here. So we're going to get a brand new length of Dymo here, yeah? Just cut that. And this doesn't need to be square at the top because we just need the side. We just need the guide to carve a straight line. That's all we got. That's all we need. Alright, just like that. And then we are going to carefully, very, very carefully line these up along that line that we drew with the corner of the box that we just scribed, and we fold this down so we can get a proper straight line. Now we're going to go back to the point 2 because we started this line here with a point 2. We're going to continue that all the way up. Even though we used 0.15 for the box that we scribed in, we're still going to use the 0.2 because that just is consistent with the line that we drew on the lower half of this skirt armor. Okay. So now we need to bring this line down here. Okay. Just like that. All right, so now we should, fingers crossed, guys, we should have this all together. Yeah, let's get some sandpaper on this guy and get our pencil marks sanded away so we can kind of see better what we're dealing with here, right? Okay, there's that. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad whatsoever. Let's get super zoomed in, yeah? Julio says I watch it July 7th every year. Nice. Let's see. Where Where's the super zoom? Damn it, woman. Give me my super zoom. There we go. And boom. Alright, so there's the original. Yeah? That's the original piece. There's the new one. Not terrible. Not terrible. I think I need to clean this out a little bit better, though. Hang on one second here, you guys. Alright, let's see. See if that... Yeah, there we go. That looks a little bit better. I think that corner bevel is just a little bit smaller on this one than, say, this one. Yeah, it is. I'm not worried about it. I'm not going to worry about it. Let's put it that way. Mainly because you're only going to see it in super zoom. If you look at it in like under normal conditions, you're never going to notice it. And then once it's painted, it'll disappear. It'll disappear in with everything else. We notice it now because we're focusing on it. I'm good with it. I'm good with it. Sometimes you have to take those liberties, right? All right, let's get out of super zoom here. Okay, so we've got pretty much the hard parts done in terms of scribing and everything, right? We've got the boxes, we've got the straight lines, the whole 9 yards there. The next thing that we're going to try and tackle are these pieces right here. But the good thing is that we have a jig for that. Because I have a jig for everything, right? So this piece right here I made to fit right up against this raised piece. And what that's going to do is it's going to give us perfect alignment to that this bottom angle here, right? And what I did on this one, because there's actually, and you can see it a little bit better on here, there's actually a slight round over here to the original piece. It's not perfectly straight, right? So what we can do is we can use this template, and we can number one, make that straight, but then use this template for our panel lines right in here, right? So that's what we'll do. That's what we'll do on Wednesday, right? Because it's getting a little late tonight. Before I forget, we need to take this line and we need to terminate that line here. So before we finish up tonight, we are going to do that. So we're just going to use one of our little scribing jigs here. Yeah, we're just going to do that, and we're going to use our chisel. We're going to pop that right into the line, and we're going to butt the scribing jig right up against it, and then we can pull the line, and it'll perfectly align to the line on the front surface, right? And there we go. Perfect. Every single time. Nice. All right, so let's get super zoomed in on that just to show you what I'm talking about here, yeah? Boop. Okay, so we've got our line right here, and then we've got our corresponding line wrapped around. So like I said, all we did was I put the 0.15 right there in the existing panel line that we scribed, right? And then we took the scribing jig and we brought it up and we butted it up right up against the chisel. Remove the chisel, hold the scribing jig there, scribe that line, pull it down, and you've got a perfectly matched up panel line, right? Pretty simple stuff. Pretty simple stuff. So that's all for tonight. Done and dusted, as those Aussies say. Yeah? So let's go back to camera 1 here. So, man, you guys, good night. Good night. Hopefully you got something out of this. Yeah. If anything, you got the idea that Hobbytown Richmond was awesome. It was a good time with good people. That's kind of what I focused on tonight, and that's what I was thinking about most of the night, to be honest with you. So, all right, but we're going to be back here on, Wednesday, and then we're going to have Mechanism on Friday. And then nothing this weekend. No, wait a minute. Maybe. Shit. I gotta talk to the Gunpla Talk guys. Haha, we need to have a show this month. I forgot about that. And then, not this weekend, but next weekend, Sabaton Con, Phoenix, Arizona. If you can get there, get there. If not, sorry. It'll be a lot of fun. I will say that. Will be a lot of fun. So, all right. So, with that being said, guys, if you want to cop one of these awesome Hummingbird Chibi shirts, hit up www.chadamecha.com. Hit the store link up at the top. You'll find shirts, hats, and all sorts of other cool stuff in there. If you are interested in the tools and materials that we worked with here tonight, there's an Amazon link just below here on YouTube and Twitch. That side, if you're watching on Facebook, go hit that up. I get a little bit of a commission based off the stuff that you buy, but it goes to help out the stream. If you are interested in tools and paints, accessories, and Mecha Decals, go hit up my good friend down there in Florida, USA Gundam Store. Adam and the crew will definitely hook you up with what you need. So, with that being said, guys, I will be back here on Wednesday. We're going to continue this back skirt modification, and we're going to keep going on. Manny says, Tim, make a hummingbird just a dress-up kit with Simp. Nah, man. No way. No. That's too much work, dude. You don't want that. And there are other conversion kits out there. You just got to find them. There are other conversion kits. So, anyway. With that being said, boys and girls, I will see you on Wednesday. Be safe. Wrong button. Wrong button. Anyway. Oh, hey now. Yeah. How about that? That's never happened before. Premature ejection. Premature stream ejection. Whoops. Anyway. All right, you guys have a wonderful Tuesday. Enjoy yourselves. Be safe out there. Build something cool. We'll see you on Wednesday. Bye, guys.